सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। हरि ओम। In the next chapter, we looked at who is the adhikara, what is the field, how to enhance the experience of the experiencer experiencing the world around. Now, the most important aspect. We understand the concept of hardware and software. It's a computer language, right? There is a hardware, and for it to function, there needs to be a software. If the software gets fried, then it is a glorious brick door stopper. Right? If the OS on this fries for whatever reasons, what do you call jailbreaking the system and want to do something, and you uploaded or downloaded the wrong file and the wrong thing, and it got fried. So what happens to the equipment? It becomes a brick. Gone are the days when just the external enhancement of the equipment would bring value to it. Most of the time nowadays, at least once a year, at least twice a year, there is packages that they release. And what does that package do? It enhances the software, makes it more efficient, protected, secure, user friendly, beneficial. They release those packages. For that, you need to plug it back in, download the whole package, run the package, and while running the package, sometimes they request you not to unplug it from the power source, huge packages, and then you get an upgrade. Satsang is like that upgrade package, which you have to run through as an executable file throughout the week, because we meet on a weekly basis. Our spirituality is weekend spirituality. Upload system is on the weekend. That's what I meant. I don't know why you are laughing for. Now, the enhancement of this software is the key. Now, what is this software? It is called the Antakarana, or the internal equipment. Bless you. This Antakarana or the internal equipment is also known as, aka, subtle body. Grosser than that is called a gross body. Each one of our subtle body functions with a certain attitude, and that attitude is guided by the causal body. That which causes it to function the way it functions, therefore it is called causal body. When I was learning this, there was such a confusion pronouncing these words. Grass body, shuttle body, and casual body. No, it is gross body, the physical, tangible. The intangible is the subtle body, and that which modules this subtle body to function in a certain pattern, therefore causing the very direction of it, it's called the causal body. Oh, a very new one just happened last week. Swamiji, I have searched in several yoga schools. What is this new asana that you talk about in Vedanta class? I said, what? It's called Vasana? I said, kill me now. The causal body is also known as the tendencies or the vasanas. Today, we will focus upon the subtle body. What is the subtle body? What is it made up of? How does it function? What are the flaws? How to deflaws? Subtle body, as I said, aka is also known as Antakarana. Antakarana, simply translated, is inner equipment. Hands, eyes, nose, all these are the external equipment. That is the hardware. The Antakarana is the software. What is the constitution of this? What makes this internal equipment? What is its basic building block? Did somebody say something? Thought. You're right, absolutely right. Just like the smallest building block of any house is a brick. If you want a strong house, your brick must be strong. 5 years ago, maybe even 10 years ago, somebody bought a new house. They had invited me for their house, Griha Pravesha. I could not attend it. Then a week or two later, they had Satyanarayana Puja. I was still traveling, I could not make it. So almost after a month or a month and a half, there was a severe thunderstorm that was passing by. After that whole thunderstorm, flooding kind of environment, I had come back. So I had the opportunity to, they had invited again. So I went to their house. There was no event other than Swaha and Aha. That was the only event. So I went there. As I knocked the door, pressed the bell, I was waiting upon for them to come and open the door. Me and construction, the building construction, architecture and things like that, थोड़ी सी कुजली है. I have some kind of a vasana for that. Yeah, vasana is also known as kujli in my language. It's an eczema. So I have that a little bit. So I just stepped back and I was seeing the entire frontage of that house. Something caught my attention. I went close by, there was the evergreens. I was passionately engaged myself in that, whatever caught my attention. So I had stepped beyond the evergreens, between the wall and the evergreens. So by the time they opened the door, I was there. A very weird place for the host to see me. भाई कर क्या रहे हो? Unmindful of their quizzical looks, I was still looking at it. And I brought to their attention, called them also in there. I said, look, your walls are going to fall. Just 3 days ago, there was this thunderstorm, and uniformly from top, wherever the brick is laid, all the way down, including now you can see the proof of it on the around the evergreens. You see this red tinge mark. The bricks gal gaye, like they're flowing. It means the brick is not of a good quality, so the wall will collapse. I said, when you buy a new house, I am told you have a 1 year something, right? Warranty. Your house still comes under the warranty. Call that fellow. I said, how can he build a house with a brick? And he was like, no, Swamiji, I think it may be something else. Just to prove the fact, with the thrust of my hand, the brick on the wall, I held it in an angle and just pushed it, little push. How many of you have watched a movie, a South movie? It is in Telugu, Tamil, Kannada, 50s ki movie. It's called Maya Bazaar. So I was like that Maya Shashireka, who touched the brick and the brick broke. So I showed it to him and I said, look. And then further, just with a single bare hand, I crushed it and it was like into mud. There's something wrong with the wall. Needless to say, he got somebody to test several portions of the wall, and it was mud blocks used and not actually bricks. I was caught right in the moment where they had to replace the entire external edifice of bricks. What would happen if you have a wall full of unbaked bricks? It's a pramada. The whole thing may look glorious, but the most inopportune moment, it will just collapse. The strength of the house is in the building block, which is the brick. If the brick is not strong, the entire edifice can fall. So what is the building block of this subtle body? Is the thought. Have we ever spent any moment to first look at our own building block, our own thought? What is the quality of that building block? See, if it is already a strong building block that you have, you're good. The sad state is we have never focused, we never pay attention to the quality of that building block, which is called a thought. There are 4 aspects of this Antakarana. The Bahikarana, there are Jnanendriyas and Karmendriyas. There are 5 Karmendriyas, 5 Jnanendriyas, total 10. That become the integral aspect of the Sthula Sharira, which is the gross body. The Antakarana has similarly 4 aspects of it. Mana, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankara. Though it is 4, its basic building block is been one and the same. Just like though it is eyes, ears, nose, mouth, they all are nourished by the food, one aspect which is food that we eat at a gross level. Similarly, at the Antakarana level, it is made up of one building block, and that one building block is called thought. The texture of the thought decides what aspect of Antakarana is functioning. Though it is all nothing but thought, how it is functioning, how it is acting, reacting, responding, we decipher whether it is mana, whether it is buddhi, whether it is chitta, whether it is ahankara. Some moments, all of them put together. You can see those aspects in that thought. Any chemistry students here? Oh, good. सारे क्लास में इकलौते हो? No, I'm not going to quiz you or question you. It's very simple, basics. OChem. Organic chemistry, there is something called isomers. सुने हो? अरे वाह! So you don't need to be a chemistry major, but basic chemistry, that's what I'm asking. What is an isomer? अच्छी बात है, अच्छी आदत है कि हर चीज में हे भगवान को प्रार्थना करके शुरू कर रहे हैं, अच्छी बात है. अब आप जवाब दीजिए. Who said? Who said? Louder, please. Yeah. Go ahead. You are almost there. मेरे भी पढ़े हुए 30 साल हो गए. What is same? Say the sentence again. I'm looking for more structured answer. You are right. You are not wrong. Water का क्या बोल रहे थे आप? No, that is not isomer. Isotopes are different. अरे वाह! Atomic mass, right. That is isotope, which comes in the radioactive. हाँ, तो वो अलग बात है. Let's not go there. हाँ जी? Okay, simplified answer. दिखता सेम है पर करता सेम नहीं है. Did you say that? Dhoka. Dhoka, it is not intending to do any kind of dhoka. ठीक है, सीता और गीता. The technical word is so the thing is its chemical formula is the same, but the structural formula is different. Therefore, its chemical property differs. Therefore, its reactions are varied, though formula remains the same. Isomers. Similarly, mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankara are like isomers. The basic formula of it, the chemistry of it is a thought. But how it acts, reacts, responds, it differs, thereby making it 4 different components, 4 different aspects of it. One is mana, the second one is buddhi, third one is chitta, fourth one is ahankara. Ankara. Now I am scared when I go back to India. This kind of language, if it comes, I am going to be ripped apart. Ankara. So what is a mind? Mind is a receiving agency, processing agency, which bundles each moment into an experience. A very beautiful operating system. We get input from 5 different devices, organs of perception, jnana, indriyas, and for every moment that we are going through, this information that is brought in, it has to be tied together. Sound is coming, visuals are coming, smells are coming, tastes are coming, sparsha. Wait for another 5 minutes, everybody sitting on those sides, they will start. Why? The blower will begin. Sparsha. You will know. Now, all this data coming in, it will be a jumble inside. Why? 5 different data points. But there is no jumbling up happening, because to every time stamp of moment, all this data that which is gathered is bundled. That bundled, processed thought becomes our experience of that moment. Am I getting across? एक होता है डिजिटल, दूसरा होता है एनालॉग. So the analogous world received in the digital format, bundled together for that particular time stamp of moment, makes it a moment, and that is flawlessly done by the mind. That texture of thought which has this capacity to bundle everything together to that every given moment is called mind. Mind also is a seat of emotions. कुछ कुछ होता है. That happens there. Now, why do I put these ridiculous things in between? Because the subtle aspects we tend to forget. These ridiculous things we tend to remember, so we can tag both of them together. So it is a seat of emotions. कुछ कुछ होता है. Like supposing there is somebody that which your own children, when they are done with their graduation, now they have to go. They usually choose some God-forsaken corner of the world to do their undergrad, and they are leaving first time home. कुछ होता है ना यहाँ पे, कुछ भार सा होता है यहाँ पे, heaviness, where your heart is now to the tune of Dil hoo kare. Have you heard of that song? Ghabraye. And then your eyes are Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati active. Do you know Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati concept? Usually, when we put on mascara and all that, if you cry, the whole eye will become darkened. So there is a new technology of Ganga, Yamuna being routed through Saraswati. अंतर्वाहिनी दिखता नहीं है. So there is heaviness. You feel like a tornado, depression. And whenever there is depression, whether in nature or here, there is rain. So what is it? That is also, that texture is called mind. Feelings, emotions, anger, jealousy, irritation, all these negatives is also mind. When the texture of this thought takes the nature of firmness to it, a sense of conviction, sense of idea, sense of direction, sense of purpose, sense of commitment, that texture of thought is called buddhi. Mind is little scattered. Buddhi is solidified. Pretty young, maybe was in 4th grade or 5th grade. See, both parents used to work, so we used to come back from school. Our first job was to, उन ज़माने में fridge which नहीं था हमारे पास. So as soon as we came, the milk had to be reboiled in time. Otherwise, फटने का प्रमाद होता था. So that day, whatever happened, while coming back from school, somebody challenged us for a cricket or whatever, and we threw the bags in, changed our clothes and went into the field, forgot, came back home, took a shower, then remembered, अरे दूध तो रखा ही नहीं था. So दूध चढ़ाया, फट गया. Mother used to come earlier than dad, so mother came, so we were like a little less scared to tell her what happened, and she was like, no worries, आज इसका हम रसगुल्ला बनाते हैं, क्योंकि जो फटा हुआ था वो पनीर था. So it is put through the sieve, the cloth, and all the water is squeezed out, and that white mass paneer is waiting there. As soon as she put it in the plate and put a little pressure, it got scattered. Mana. So between the two of us brothers, the task was given, gundo. Start, putting your elbow grease into it. So I was like, kab tak? How long should I keep doing it? He said, until you find the oil, the fat come into your hand and it becomes one mass. जो बिखरा हुआ है, that has now become one mass. Then now what do we? Where do I throw this? Where do I put this? Throw मतलब फेंकना नहीं. Where do I drop it? Then, no, we are not done. Now break it again into smaller balls. I was like, this we could have done then. You made me, dough it up into one mass. Now you want me to break it again? Useless work. That's how I was reacting. No, unless you put it into a dough and that uniformity comes into it, otherwise it will, even though you make it, it will again scatter. That is the texture of mind. Now when you do it, make it into a ball, it retains its structure. Then you throw it into simple syrup and let it boil up, cook. Then what happens? That little thought of conviction now becomes swelled up, firm, soft, yet retaining its shape and texture. अब समझ रहे? The same scattered, gathered, nicely gundofied. What is the English word for it? Kneaded. I think that is why I deleted that word. Needs नहीं होने चाहिए. So you knead it, and then put them into small balls. They become big, nice, textured, firm, and yet soft. Retains its shape. रसगुल्ले हो गए. It's the same mass, but processed into now a shape and a direction. Similarly is the intellect, wherein buddhi, the same thought content, but the texture of it has now become solidified into one form, shape, and that gives the direction. Now all of these experiences that we go through has to be consistently stored. Let me ask, at 10 years of age, where were you, sir? India માં, Ahmedabad માં. Where was that answer? That where it is, from where he withdrew that is called memory. It's a very dynamic memory. What do I mean by dynamic memory? For lack of material here, what am I holding in my hand? सबका वही आंसर है? पक्का? A bottle of water. How quick was the answer? Pretty instant. As soon as I showed you this, you had a visual aid. As soon as you heard what I wanted you to connect with this visual aid, immediately the buddhi processed it, the buddhi took that information and to its vast database, big data that it stores it not just stores, it updates also. If there is a, if it were an Indian context and if it had a light blue color lid and I picked it up and asked what is it, you would not have said that it is just a bottle of water. You would have said it is Bisleri. Arey wah! Bottle of water now got upgraded with a specificity. Right? So it gets the upgrade and constantly keeps it upgrade. You see a say a pen. You have seen millions of kinds of pen. You see a newer kind, you add it in. It is added into the database with proper tags to it. That as soon as you put any one of those tags, comes out the data. So much so that any aspect of the data given, tag given, orange, what comes into your mind? Huh? Fruit. Color. Okay, Swamiji, sunset. If I ask the younger kids, they would say basketball. Ye yatha pashyanti, tans tathaiva. Whatever they see, they. Supposing I qualify orange, round, a sun, a setting sun, a basketball, a fruit, middle school and up, just to get under my skin, Swamiji. Now if I add one more tagline, sour or tangy, fruit, Swamiji. You give the rupa, you get the nama, you get the nama, you get the rupa. A very dynamic memory system. And that is called the, what is the memory called? Chitta, not chit. Half ta and a full ta. Chitta. Chit means something else. How many of you know Telugu? Chatta means something else totally. Trash means chatta in Telugu. Too much of information, not necessary. In my head, that is what happens. Like 12, 13 languages, each word said what it means in different languages, and I keep jumping with joy and mischief in my head. Chit means consciousness. Chitta means memory. So, mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankara. With all the processings of the sukshma sharira or the sthula sharira, wherever, whatever kind of processing, however insignificantly small to however significantly big, whatever movement is happening, there is this glued tag that goes unsaid. For example, what are you all doing right now? Supposed to be listening. Nobody said a complete sentence. Did you observe that? You just gave me the verb, listening. But when I hear the word listening, what am I interpreting it as a complete statement in my head? I am listening. I am is assumed implied in there. Glued tag which is assumed in there. Listening, I am listening. Sitting, I am sitting. Seeing, I am sitting. I am seeing. I am is constantly there, implied through and through every single process. आनंद जी एकदम ऐसे देख रहे थे अभी अभी thinking. In that, I am thinking. Right? I am checking the time. किया था आपने अभी? कब तक ये बोलता जाएगा? टाइम क्या हुआ है? I am checking. I am giggling. Right? For everything that is happening, I. I don't have any ahankara. Duh. In making that statement, you have claimed it. Right? When truly that ahankara drops, there is a mauna inside outside. Mauna vyakhya prakatita parabrahma tattvam yuvanam varsheshtante vasadrishiganaihi avritam brahmanishthaihi. Mauna vyakhya. There is an eloquent speech of silence. It happens. You see a beautiful sunset or a sunrise, your mind is stunned. In that stunning beauty, you have arrived to that silence where you are neither owning nor disowning nor commenting nor branding. These are all the modules in which that ego functions. Our ego functions. We as ego function. Nothing of that is happening. There's just a stunned beauty, and in that stunned beauty you are in absolute alertness, silently watching it. The moment later, you want to own it, you want to grapple it, you want to do something, some processing to it. Ego is already there. In the neighbor's garden, that rose plant which has been peeping across the fence, a beautiful flower has come. You go close to it, watch it. Wow, it's really beautiful. First thought of recognition, awareful. Whoa. Then you check. कोई नहीं देख रहा? Nobody watching? Ego has come. First thought, first recognition, there is nothing. Ego, that ahankara, aham, the idea of me, it's akara, the shape of me, and who loves this idea of me? I love my idea of me the most. There was a recent pop song. I am in the love of the shape of me. Correct bola yaar. who in this world is not in the love of the shape of you? I am the first one to be in love with it. So when I say this I, it is also the collective amassed idea of me from all possible angles, whether it is physical, whether it is emotional, whether it is intellectual, whether it is perceived, whether it is projected, whether it is projectedly perceived, whether it is perceived as a all of this put together, there is an idea of me. Of all this analog, there is a digital image of me. It includes, it can be good image, it can be a bad image. I am sloppy, I am lazy, I am this is me. Whatever, right? I am smart, I am athletic, I am gorgeous. I think that I am gorgeous, but everybody else around me thinks that I am not. Even that also, that dichotomy is also put in there. Is it possible, Swami? Yeah, I'll tell you a fact. I think I am a good singer. Those around me never appreciate it. In fact, they say, please, stop. Thou shalt not torture us with your so-called claim to singing. Jab dil hi toot gaya. And every time I hear that, my heart breaks. This is what happens, right? I have an image of me, I project it into the world, it is accepted, I feel I am accepted, I am respected. If that is rejected, then dil ke tukde karke. The heart is broken into pieces again. All of this Kavi Bhasha, what it means is that this image of Ahankara, the individuality, and we make a big deal out of it. We constantly are making it, breaking it, remaking it. We make a big deal out of it. It is now, I don't know what to do. Make it again. It's not like set in stone. But we behave as though it is set in stone. All of these layers put together, there is a conglomerate of all of this as a digital image of me, myself, that is called Ahankara. In and through every movement, I put that signature of my digital image into every movement. When you said listening, in that listening, you had put the signature which was implied. I am listening. हम सब सुनने आते हैं, इसीलिए आपको प्रवक्ता बनने का मौका मिलता है. That listener me, signature given. Now all of these function in a certain particular pattern, a particular mold. Each one of our mold is different. How it acts, reacts, responds is different based on our vasanas, based on our own tendencies. Why does my mind react, respond, or does not react to any given circumstances? It purely boils down to the effect of my vasana on this equipment put together. Deha means samugraha, all the things put together. All of this put together, why does it function in a certain way? Like a given situation, if I am saying something, if I am trying to say something which I think should be jovial, there are those of you who probably have been hearing me for quite some time. 21 saal is a long time. So you exactly know what joke that I am going to say. Even before I start saying it, you recognize the pattern of it and start smiling and giggling. ये उसी line में जा रहे हैं, वही joke होगा. You are already smiling. This is one kind of smile. See, the incident is the same, but each one's reaction is being different. That is what I am focusing on. One person has already started giggling and smiling. The other person smiles and giggles when there is punchline hitting, and then ooh. Then there are those one or two in every gathering. तारे ज़मीन पर. They look at everybody else. अब भाई काहे हंस रहे हो? समझ नहीं आया यार. काहे हंस रहे हो? कोई तो बताओ. काहे हंस रहे हो? So somebody is. This is the third wave of laughter. There are some who are very, very observantly controlled. They don't want to show that they have not understood. But obviously that eyes show lack of that spark, they have not understood. यहाँ से सब कुछ दिखता है. And at that point, when they सोच रहे, you can see all of this happening in those eyes. सोच रहे, suddenly, as a later flash wherein, now looking at them giggle, the entire gathering again laughs. So sixth wave. Now each one is acting, reacting, responding based on what? Based on the tendency, and guided by that tendency, the behavior of the buddhi and the mana, guided by that buddhi and mana, the organs of perception and action. Now the vasana is in that particular direction. It is because of avidya. This avidya triggers something called kama. Kama, desire, craving. Avidya triggers kama. The kama compels the individual to perform action to fulfill that desire. Karma. Avidya, kama, karma. The karma leaves trail of these tendencies back in the causal body, karana sharira, strengthening the vasana. As that pressure of vasana increases, Avidya pushes kama again. Kama becomes karma again. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. मैं MS की तरह तो गा नहीं सकता, मैं गा ही नहीं सकता. पुनरपि जननम पुनरपि मरणम पुनरपि जननी जठरे शयनम. इधर ही हो रहा है पुनरपि जननम पुनरपि मरणम कॉन्स्टेंटली. Causal body itself is the vasanas. It's not something which is carrying something for us. The very vasana, the body of vasana is called causal body. समझ रहे? Now all of this, if it has to be tackled, we have to understand the thought and how to tackle the thought. If we learn how to tackle the thought, then this entire antakarana can be streamlined. If the antakarana is streamlined, then the bahikarana can also be seamlessly yoked in, pulled in. So the antakarana, which is a thought, and what we have to learn is thought management. How, what or why, we will see next week. The same chapter, subtle body, we will see how to gather that control and guide it. This week we just spoke about the problem. No, it's not a problem, it is what it is. How to enhance it and make it better. That we will see next week. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.